talk about the rectangular coordinate system. You might also know this as the grid where you do graphing. So you're probably familiar with the rectangular coordinate system already. The rectangular coordinate system is split into 4 different quadrants, and there are 2 axes. We call these axes. These axes go on forever in either direction. The horizontal axis is known as the x-axis, and the vertical axis is known as the y-axis. In the forward direction on the x-axis, so to the right, the numbers get bigger. So we start at 0 here at what we call the origin. And then we get bigger as we go to the right. And this would go on forever. As we go to the left, we're going to get bigger, but in the negative direction. So starting at -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So the x-axis gets more and more positive as you go to the right. It goes negative as you go to the left. For the y-axis, those values are going to get more and more positive as we go up, and the negatives are going to be down below here. We'll get more and more negative as we go down. So we'll just put some numbers on here. These 4 different quadrants have names. They're numbered. So up here, this is our first quadrant. We start right here when we're counting the quadrants, and then we go in a counterclockwise pattern. So we're going to number them: quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. We use Roman numerals when we're talking about the quadrants of the rectangular coordinate system. If you are unfamiliar with Roman numerals, this is number 1. This is number 2. This is number 3. And this is number 4. On the rectangular coordinate system, we plot points. And we plot points using the numbers on the x-axis and the numbers on the y-axis. So every point on the coordinate plane is identified by, like I said, 1 number relating to x and 1 number relating to y. And we call that an ordered pair or a coordinate point. Zoom out a little there. An ordered pair or a coordinate point. So you can think of this xy as being the address of a point, where, see here, we have this x. This is known as the x-coordinate. And it tells us how we move on the x-axis. If the number is positive, we're going to move to the right, and if the number is negative, we move to the left. Unsurprisingly, we're going to call the y coordinate. All right, and this is me recording my first video in my office. I normally would record videos at home, so if you hear background noise, I apologize. There's a lot of movement in this office. So with the y coordinate, if you have a positive y coordinate, you move up. If you have a negative y coordinate, you're going to move down. So let's go ahead and practice that a little bit. So I have a grid here. I have points, and you'll notice that there is a letter next to each of these points. When there's a letter next to a coordinate point, that's just the name of the point. So this first one, his name is A, this point's name is B, this point's name is C. And that helps us because when we plot the points, then we can label them if we know what their names are. So looking at this point, A, it's 2, 5. So that first coordinate is telling us where to go on the x-axis. So we move over to 2 on the x-axis. And then it's telling us that the y-coordinate is 5. So we are moving up 5 spaces, and that's where point A should be. And I can label point A. I can do the same thing for B. So I'm going to -5 on the x-axis. And then I am going up 4 on the y-axis, and I'm plotting a point there. I'm calling him B. For C, 1 over on the x-axis, and then down 2 on the y-axis. That's point C. Point D, one of these numbers is 0. So for the x, it's -4, the x-coordinate's -4, going back to -4. But then the y-coordinate is 0, which means we neither move up nor down. We simply stay right on the x-axis. So right here, this is going to be point D. Running out of colors here, so let's see. -7, -5 is going to put us right here. So back 7, down 5. That's point E. And I'll plot point F in black. So point F over 0. So I'm not moving left or right. The x-coordinate is 0, but I am moving up 5. And plotting my last point there. So that is plotting points on the coordinate system. Now we can go in the reverse direction as well and give the coordinates of each point. And maybe what I should have said before the previous example is if you're interested in trying these problems for yourself, instead of just watching me do them, please pause the video, try them for yourself, and then, scroll forward past me doing them to see if you got the answer right. So let's look at these coordinate points and find their names. For coordinate point A, we've gone backwards 1, -1, -1. And these parentheses, by the way, this parenthesis I'm putting here, these are not optional. Parentheses are actually a necessary part of a coordinate point. So I'm going to write this point. This is -1, 1. It is important to have those parentheses here. This is not the same as just saying -1, 1. It's parentheses. -1, 1 is not the same. For point B, we go to the right 3, so it's +3 on the x-axis, but we don't go up or down. So 0 for the y-coordinate. For point C, it's 6 on the x-axis, it's 4 on the y-axis. So it's 6, 4. D is going to be -5, comma 3. -5 for X, 3 for Y. E is -4, -4. F is +1, -3. G is +2, +4. So just make sure you're doing the X coordinate first. For H, we do not go left or right, so the X coordinate is 0. The Y coordinate is -5. So again, we're just looking at these like they're addresses. Coordinate points give us the address of a point on the coordinate system.